Yo, what's up guys? C-Jax back with another video, and today is going to be a rant on why I think WWE's current champions are awful. Now, I'm going to give you guys the 5 reasons why I think this is, so let's just go ahead and hop into the video. The first reason I think that these current champions are garbage is because there are no stars as champion. Let's go down the list. Your WWE champion is Cody Rhodes, a guy who was primarily a jobber for 90 to 95% of his career until the last year and a half or two. Your next champion, your World Heavyweight Champion, is Gunther. Gunther is overrated in the ring. He has no draw. No one is going to tune in to Raw strictly to see Gunther. Do you know anyone saying, "Hey, let's buy some Gunther merch"? Like what? Nobody buys Gunther merch. Gunther is not a draw. He's not. It's that simple. If Gunther were to leave the company tomorrow and you made Drew McIntyre champion or Punk champion or Rollins champion, you would get more viewership, if not the same. It's the same stuff. Nia Jax and Bayley too, I'm including her in this too, they're both awful champions and they're not superstars. And it's the same thing with, well, LA Knight is actually a budding superstar. I'll give him that. You know, he's awesome. I really like LA Knight. And Jey Uso just became champ, so I can't really say anything about him yet, but he is the most over face in arguably the entire company besides Roman Reigns. So there's that. Jey and LA Knight, you're excused. But outside of that, these people are trash. When Roman Reigns last year, just look at the championship roster last year alone, right? Because it's enough to bring up past champions in other eras like the 2000s and the 2010s with champs like John Cena, Brock Lesnar, Randy Orton, Batista, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, etc. We already know these guys are way better champs and way bigger stars than the ones we have today. Like I could say right now, dude, just imagine telling someone who was watching wrestling in the 2000s or the 2010s, right? Just imagine telling them that your future roster of champions would go as follows. Cody Rhodes is your WWE champion, Gunther's your world champ, Bayley and Nia Jax are your two, were your WWE champions for the year, and Liv Morgan is your women's world champ, and then your Intercontinental champ is Jey Uso, and your US champion is LA Knight. Just imagine telling someone that in the 2000s or the 2010s. I can end the video right there if I wanted to. Like, seriously. Just look at the quality drop off in that and you come back to me. But my problem is that even last year alone, Roman Reigns was your WWE champion. He felt like a megastar, and he is a megastar and one of the only stars in wrestling anymore. He comes out and you actually feel his presence. You're like, holy crap, this guy's awesome. This is the number one guy. Seth Rollins, as much as he was a weirdo, and he still is a weirdo with his entrances and his outfits, Seth Rollins comes out, you know he's going to put on a 5-star match, and you know he's going to hold that title with dignity, respect, and consistency. He's going to be at work, which we're going to talk about these wrestlers and champions now not showing up to work, but anyways, Seth Rollins is going to show up to work, give you a 5-star match. He's going to be consistent in his promos, which honestly, when Seth Rollins locks in and tries to be somewhat serious, his promos are still very good. So that's just facts. You also had Rhea Ripley, who was champion last year. She's a much bigger star and draw than Liv Morgan and then Nia Jax. Bianca Belair was your WWE Women's Champion last year. You're telling me she's not a bigger draw and a bigger star and doesn't have a bigger star feel than Bayley and Nia Jax? Are you kidding me? Just stop, man. Stop. It's nonsense. WWE needs to go back to having these WWE champions feel like stars. When Cody Rhodes comes out, nobody thinks this dude is a star. Nobody does. He's forced into the main event. Cody Rhodes has never been a star, and he never will be a star. It's that simple. When John Cena used to come out with the belt, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Batista, all of these people, when they come out with the belts, you feel something because it's a special atmosphere. When Cody Rhodes comes out with the belt, you're bored and you're ready to listen to him say, "I respect you weakly, so good I drink it neatly. Libations, libations, I really want to give you my secure respects, Orton." Shut up. Shut up! This just isn't things that stars do. Now, the next reason on this list is the fact that the champions now do not wrestle and absolutely do nothing. When they show up to work, they deliver nothing. When they don't show up to work, they don't deliver anything. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, well, people like Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, they didn't show up to work every week. They didn't need to. You know why? Because every time that Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns showed up on the show, they delivered. They delivered a great segment, or, Roman Reigns would deliver an amazing promo, or maybe if they wrestled occasionally on the show or at a PLE, it would be awesome, right? It's all memorable matches. Seth Rollins showed up every single week and cut promos, or he did a match defending his title, or he cut another promo or a segment, or did everything like that. Why is it now that Cody Rhodes shows up to work and doesn't even cut promos? He doesn't even cut promos anymore. He doesn't do anything. He shows up and does absolutely nothing. I respect you, I appreciate you, I love you, and then he walks away. It's the same stuff. His storylines are boring. He's not engaging. These wrestlers do nothing. They show up to work and do nothing. Liv Morgan comes up to work and does this. Rhea, revenge tour. Like what? This is nonsense. Are you kidding me right now, bro? This is unacceptable. Nia Jax shows up and she actually does wrestle and she does cut promos, but the promos are awful. They're awful. Gunther, it's the same thing. Gunther shows up to work and does absolutely nothing. He doesn't wrestle on Raw. He's had one match on Raw since becoming champion. And even since a month before becoming champion. No, my bad, bro. Since the King of the Ring, this dude has maybe had 2 or 3 Raw matches in the last 5 months. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. These champions do nothing. Gunther doesn't wrestle. Cody doesn't wrestle. Cody has 4 or 5 SmackDown matches since becoming champion this year? Are you serious? No one wrestles. They don't do promos. And if they do try and do promos, they cut awful ones. This is ridiculous. Why is LA Knight, who is the US champion, is the best current champion on the entire roster? He wrestles. He cuts good promos. He shows up to work. He gets a pop from the crowd. He's super over. Why is he the only person who has a combination of these attributes anymore? When back then, literally last year, you had a championship list of people who did all of these things. All of them. What's the problem here, man? I don't understand what happened here with these champions, dude. They absolutely suck. They don't do anything. Rhea Ripley even, her championship reign was garbage. Her championship reign was awful. It was terrible. Bayley's championship reign was awful. She was barely even getting on SmackDown most nights. What is this? And don't think that Nia Jax and Liv Morgan are excused from this either. The women's division is also way worse than it used to be. And the WWE Women's Champions used to be much better. The women's talent was just better. Nikki Bella, legend in the women's division, in the history of women's wrestling, obviously. We already know this. Trish Stratus, another legend. An absolute legend. You know what I'm saying? Eve Torres is a better wrestler and has a bigger drawing ability and is simply a better diva overall, better wrestler, better women's wrestler, whatever you want to call her. She's better than 90% of this women's roster today. AJ Lee has more charisma in her pinky than 95% of than all of this roster. My bad, not some, all of them. Alexa Bliss, AJ Lee, people like this, even the Bella Twins, all of that. They are much better than the current champions today. I want you to tell me with a straight face that Trish Stratus or Nikki Bella or AJ Lee or any of these people are worse champions than Liv Morgan or Nia Jax. Come on, man. Come on. And they're obviously better legends. They're going to go down as legends in the industry. While people like Liv Morgan and Nia Jax and Bayley, well, I guess Bayley will go down as a legend because she's one of the 4 horsewomen, but after that, she hasn't done anything. Nia Jax and Liv Morgan are going to go down as mid-carders who got a chance to win the title a couple times. That's it. It's 2024, man. If Triple H is so good, then book these champions with some respect. And this makes you have to ask yourself, if WWE's roster was as the most stacked as it's ever been, as people say, and the roster's so great and the booking's so great, why did their shows like Raw and SmackDown used to get 3 times the viewership that they do now? Because the roster and the content was better, and the champions were better. And this is reason number 3. The champions now are boring wimps. Every single one of them, except for the exception, obviously, of LA Knight and Jey Uso, because it's too early to tell, all of these champions are booked like absolute and utter wimps. Nia Jax constantly needs Tiffany or someone else to help her win these matches against jobbers like Michin. It's Michin. Are you kidding me? You need Tiffany Stratton to beat Michin and to beat Bayley? Bayley is a loser. She's done nothing in the last 2 or 3 years of this company. She did Damage Control. That's great. Damage Control was hot for like 3 months, and then they fell off. They became cold as ice like Klay Thompson in the play-in game this year, bro. Come on. This is unacceptable. It's ridiculous. Doing absolutely nothing. Liv Morgan's the same thing. Liv Morgan comes out there, and she does absolutely nothing, and then when she actually does wrestle a match, which she barely wrestles on Raw either, she doesn't wrestle at all, she basically comes out there, and she's like, oh, well, let's fight tonight. And then they actually do a match, and then Liv Morgan ends up needing help from like 3 other people to win 1 match. How are your world champions needing this much help to win 1 match? And even with your main champs being absolute wimps, why is Gunther, who had a 600-plus day title reign, who was wrestling pretty much every week or every other week, he becomes world champion and now he doesn't wrestle? He's boring. All Gunther is his whole character is about wrestling, and he's not even wrestling. Cody Rhodes is the same thing. The American Nightmare, the fighting champion. I show up week to week and do nothing. That's what he does. He does nothing. Nothing. Cody Rhodes gets told by Kevin Owens, who is a jobber. Kevin Owens tells him, hey, you don't need to compete tonight, bro. We got this. You're good, bro. Take the night off. You're letting a jobber like Kevin Owens tell you when to work and when not to. It's unbelievable. I sit back and I watch this stuff. I'm like, are you kidding me? People have the audacity to say things like this is the best the roster has ever been. Are you insane? Are you insane? This roster is not even a quarter of the best the roster's ever been. This is ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. And reason number 4, the champs don't feel like champs. And this is a combination of many reasons that go into this. Number 1, there's no stars left. So obviously no one's going to feel like a champ anymore when you have no stars. Cody Rhodes comes out and he doesn't feel like a champion. Everything that he does week to week, same thing with Gunther, same thing with Liv Morgan, Nia Jax, all this stuff, honestly, is less interesting and it's less over with the crowd than the stuff that's being done by guys like LA Knight and Jey Uso. And even Rhea Ripley, you can throw her in there. It's ridiculous. How is a mid-card champion being more interesting and more engaging and more exciting than your WWE champion and your world champions? It just lets you know that what they're doing is clearly boring and the crowd is done with it. But Triple H doesn't listen because we have to get the same thing over and over and over and over and over again drilled into our heads, bro, and brainwashed. And now that Triple H has done his job of brainwashing the fans, they're accustomed to these people not wrestling. But if you look back in the pantheon of WWE, the only wrestlers who actually earned the right to not wrestle every week or to wrestle a few times a year and barely be at work cutting promos are all legends. Undertaker, Brock, Cena in his later days, Roman Reigns. All of these people are legends. Now you have people who are not showing up to work and not cutting promos and they haven't earned it at all. Listen to that list of names I just said again. Roman, Brock, Undertaker, Cena. Now let me tell you the people now who are champions and who are not wrestling and not cutting good promos and are barely doing anything on the shows week to week. Cody Rhodes, Gunther, Liv Morgan, Nia Jax. Really? What have these people earned to not show up to work and still get the same treatment as stars? They've done nothing. That's why they're not treated as stars. There's levels to this game, man. It is absolutely ridiculous. And reason number 5, to close out this list of why I think that the champions are absolute and utter garbage, is simply because the talent is not there. I'm done sugarcoating it and I'm done pretending like this isn't real. The championship talent is not there. It's not. Back then, the roster was just simply that much better. It was so much better, man. It was so much better. I remember turning on the TV. I'm sitting there and I'm watching with my brother, and we're just watching legend after legend after legend. Jeff Hardy, Cena, Edge, Orton, Jericho, Taker, Batista, Michaels, Triple H. You know what I'm saying? All of those legends just back to back to back. Rey Mysterio. Everyone. Every match you watch is good. The worst people on the roster, the mid-carders and undercarders, like John Morrison and Shelton Benjamin, are better wrestlers than 95+% of the roster in the ring today. Simple. It's that simple. The worst case scenario for shows back then would be a top-tier scenario for shows today. And that's why your champions are not good. They're not. Because the talent is not the same. Cody Rhodes can never be a 10th, be 1/20th of what John Cena was. He never will be. Stop comparing him to John Cena. He'll never be 1/20th of what John Cena was. While John Cena was winning titles, Cody was jobbing out in Legacy and teaming with Ted DiBiase and losing to Jack Swagger. Gunther, stop comparing him to world champions like Edge, Rollins, Taker, Batista, etc. He couldn't lace up their boots if he wanted to. He has no draw ability. He has no star power. And he doesn't wrestle anywhere near as good matches as people like Undertaker, Mysterio, etc. List it goes on and on. So stop giving me that, man. It's unacceptable. These champs are garbage. They are absolutely garbage, and the talent that they have now is not even close to what it used to be back then. Even to the mid-card. Jeff Hardy, CM Punk, who were mid-carders back then. Who else was a mid-card champion? The Miz was a mid-card champion in the 2010s and, other times in his career as well. Randy Orton has held Intercontinental belts before. He's held the U.S. belt. All of these different people who played their roles in the mid-cards, Rey Mysterio too included, a couple other people. John Cena, when he had his U.S. title reign. John Cena had one of the greatest U.S. championship reigns ever, if not the best U.S. championship reign ever. And that reign is better than any main roster type reign like the WWE titles and the world titles. Anyone holding one of those belts today couldn't lace up Cena's boots when he was US champion in the 2010s, bro. So stop. The talent gap is there. It's very evident to see. The only people that actually get respected and praised by older wrestlers today are Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, and that's it. Every one of these legends who used to wrestle in the when WWE was amazing, they all know the truth. The Rock knows the truth. The only great people that are actually working today are maybe 3 or 4 people, and they're all older guys. CM Punk, who I don't think is great right now, but all time he's going to go down as great. Roman Reigns, legend. Seth Rollins, awesome. You know what I'm saying? Drew McIntyre, very good to even great. Randy Orton, legend. You know what I'm saying? All these people are on the older side because they have experience and they know what it means to truly be great. This current roster has no idea what it means to be great. No idea. And that's why we all buy time and wait for guys like The Rock to come back or Cena to come back to save this garbage roster and this garbage set of champions that don't draw money, they don't draw viewership, and as champion, Cody Rhodes has over 1 million less views than Jinder Mahal on average when Jinder was champion. It's unbelievable. What else do you have to argue against this? Absolutely nothing. We're going to sit here, we're going to watch this garbage content, and we're going to digest it. Because at the end of the day, I love professional wrestling. I love WWE. So I'm going to watch it, right? Because it's years of buildup and years where I've seen them actually be good. So I can't stop, because a couple, they had a bad year or bad months or whatever. Things will hopefully change down the line. But right now, this roster and this set of champions is awful. And if they don't do anything about it, they're going to continue to plummet over and over and over again. And they're going to need The Rock and Cena to save them 6 months out of the year, and bring them back to relevance in the mainstream and bring them viewership, along with guys like Roman and Rollins and Punk and Drew, etc. But notice how that etc. does not include any of the current champs. Now, with that being said, that is why I think that the current roster of WWE champions are awful. And as usual, I hope you guys had a phenomenal day. Peace out.